Okay, today we're going to talk about expensive record collections which you cherish, and things you should not put them through or use on them or put them near or treat them in a way that I've seen people treat them. I've also seen people end up with disasters by treating your record collection not in the correct way. First thing we're going to talk about is methylated spirits. This was used as a cleaner for vinyl back in the 70s. A lot of us soul guys used to, there was a rumour going around that you know, methylated spirits will clean your vinyl beautifully. And I think if you look at this, it is cleaning it beautifully, doing a great job, taking all the dirt off. We're cleaning it nicely. And if you have a look at the rag, that's took lots of lovely dirt off. And the good thing about it is it dries really quickly. Okay, now then, let me tell you, that record is now ruined, completely ruined. Because what this does, it actually goes into the vinyl and over a period of time will break it down. It'll end up giving it a bloom, and it'll also end up making it hiss. Once that's gone onto that vinyl, you cannot get it off in any way, shape or form. So do not use methylated spirits to clean vinyl. Okay, it's absolutely the worst thing you can use. It will, although it looks okay now, doesn't it? But I can tell you that vinyl now, I've picked a scratch record on purpose because I don't really care about it. You can't sell records in that condition. That will penetrate that vinyl over a period of time, and it will start to break it down, giving it a bloom on top, but also breaking down it goes into the grooves and breaks it down. So don't ever, under any circumstances, use that on vinyl. Right, obviously Coca-Cola is hazardous to vinyl, and we don't expect anybody to use it to clean things, but what you can do is get spillage like this on your vinyl. You can just see that's been on there a few days, and that is now just a gooey, yeah, it's a gooey mess, and that's there. Trying to clean that off will be a really hard job. But what you can do is fill a receptacle up so far with nice soapy water. So if you fill this receptacle to here with nice soapy water and dangle the offending piece in the soapy water, that will, over about 3 or 4 days, the coat will slowly drop off it, and you've got a chance then of putting it on a cleaning machine and actually getting it off. If I put this on a cleaning machine now, I'll be there all day trying to get that's coke, and that's what coke does to vinyl. Okay, now what I will do is I'll be able to show you that in I'll fit a receptacle up to do that. So all you do, a pen's fine, drop it into water, which is going to be soapy water. It must be soapy water, not just plain water, and it will take the coke off. Same goes for beer. The big enemy of DJs is somebody spilling beer near your DJ box, or somebody leaving a ring of beer on the side and you put your record on top of it. We've all done it. That's a great beer, by the way. It's a fantastic beer. It's my favourite British beer, and that, if you get them on records, you're in trouble. But the way to remove it successfully is to get a receptacle, fill it up to there. Obviously don't go to the label, because if you put a label in soapy water it will peel off, and just get it to that bit there, being careful of not getting the label wet. And after about 3 days of sitting it there, you will have the coke just lifting itself off. A beer's a little easier to get off than coke, but they're two enemies, especially if you're a DJ in a club, two enemies that you've got to keep away from vinyl. But if you do get it and you can't get it off, just find yourself just a little homemade receptacle, anything, just sit it in there. 2 or 3 days it takes just to slowly lift it off. You can look at it every day and take a little bit off each time. Here's the other thing that ruins vinyls, ruins records, is the habit of people in America snipping this top corner with a staple. Now what happens is, if people take it out and don't realise there's a staple there, it runs past this staple and it will do a big gouge in your records. Loads of us have done it. Nobody likes to admit that they've done that, but because they haven't seen it there, they rip the thing out. This sleeve isn't, you know, this sleeve's split down one side, but a proper sleeve, ripping it out, you will gouge the record. So be aware when you're looking through records that you're not pulling them out where there's a thingy. That's the way I get rid of them, but obviously you can pull them out with your finger. Right, now I'm going to move on to something that's quite controversial. I'm sure the makers of these sleeves won't agree with me on some points here. These nice thin poly sleeves, fantastic. Put your record in your sleeve, put it inside there, it protects the label. Doesn't protect the vinyl, but certainly protects the label, and stops your label getting ring wear and rub. And I can't recommend these enough. They're very cheap, and that's what your record should be in. Moving on to a different type. These hard ones, you can see the difference, much thicker. You can get them thicker than this as well. I think this one's thicker again. These, when they are new, you can put your nose in there and you will get a hit off it. They give off a gas which isn't very nice. That goes after a while, that's not a problem. What is the problem is when you put records inside them, they will go through your paper sleeve, attack your vinyl and leave a bloom on the vinyl, which can turn into a hiss. The biggest problem is that if you put one record in there and just leave it there, not too much of a problem. It's when you decide to put all your collection in these plastic sleeves, pack them all together tight, you've got a lot of gas in the area of your vinyl, and it will make your vinyl deteriorate. Especially if you go and have a DJ box. You can imagine you've got 200 records in a DJ box, got them in these thick plastic sleeves. I'm talking about the thick ones that sound crinkly. If you put them in a DJ box and then close the lid, you're putting your records in an environment which is got a destructive gas which actually attacks the vinyl. Now I know quite a few collections I've been to, I've done this, and unfortunately it devalues your records greatly, and also sometimes I've even not bought them. A recent Motown collection came up for sale, a great Motown collection, probably one of the best in the world. He had them all in these sleeves, and unfortunately a lot of them had bloomed. Depending where they were in the box or the filing system, when you pack them in tight, it will go through paper. I've even come across prog rock LPs that have been put in massively strong sleeves which have been packed together. It's even gone through the sleeves of the outer cover and the inner sleeve as well, and left a bloom on the vinyl. If you ever see that bloom on the vinyl, it's like an oily mist. These are one of the boys that can cause it. This definitely causes it. Anything you touch with that will cause a bloom and will deteriorate. Going into these hard sleeves, depending on how you pack them away. If you pack them away and not in an atmosphere where there's air running around it, but if you pack them away in a DJ box, you could be looking at a DJ box which is deteriorating by the day, and values going down by the day. It does take a long time for this bloom to be triggered by these covers, and I don't know, I'm not a chemist, I don't know what the gas or I'm not a physics expert either, but I don't know what the gas is that comes off that, but it definitely attacks vinyl. There are many collections up and down the country who regret putting these sleeves on their expensive vinyl and packing them away tightly, which creates an atmosphere where there's gas. Okay, just slip those away. I've got an expensive record here today to show you something on. I have perfected a little bit of a system. I showed you the other time of doing cracks. This unfortunately has got the minutest hairline crack. In fact, I don't even think it's going to show up on the camera. It's really hard to find and hardly noticeable, but it's definitely there. Let me try. As you can see, there's a hairline crack there. That wants strengthening. I did show you last time how to strengthen hairline cracks. I'm going to give you another trade secret here. This is a 12-inch cover. Easy to find. This sort of paper, it's like coated in black. Okay, so what we're going to do today is this stuff is the biggest enemy of all. If you get this on your vinyl, it's gone. You will not get super glue off your vinyl. So you have to be ultra careful with it. So I'm going to just put some on there. Just got a little line on there. I'm going to get the crack, screw this down, yeah, with that crack just there. I'm going to stand it up on that, and I'm going to roll it backwards and forwards. Now the trick to this is that when you're rolling it backwards and forwards, don't get any glue running up the side, it's only a thin thing, and then I'm just going to hold it there for a few seconds. Okay, so what we're looking for, that's now stuck there. You want it fairly well stuck to it. I'm going backwards and forwards, and just give it a bit of a blow, a bit of a dry. Okay, I think that's pretty well stuck to that now. Okay, are you ready, Paul? So all we're going to do is roll that back there. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? That's now ripped it off. So what we've got now is a beautifully fine piece of paper stuck to it. I'm going to very gently get a scalpel. Take that off. What we've actually done there is strengthen that not only with the glue, but we've gone along quite a few millimeters. And when I can take these off, I feel a little bit like a surgeon here, vinyl surgeon. There we go. Can you see? Now we need to take that off completely. Just lift that up. You can obviously edit this.
Yeah, this ain't going to make very good.
No, you've got to edit it now.
Yeah.
Just show me looking at a scalpel. So we then, just like you're having a shave. Right, there is a proper fix on a hairline crack. Yeah. You will notice there's no super glue gone over. That's a proper fix. You see that? What you can do, I mean, if you're careful, you can put a little bit of black pen on that, a little bit of felt tip, which here's one I made earlier. Just quickly go across it, and you now have a real strengthened. Hope you like that. There you go, there's the hairline crack, there's the strengthen. That's a job well done. That's a very, very fine hairline crack, I can hardly see it. There you go. I think that's a really neat job. Can't see from the side, can't see from the top. In fact, if I was unscrupulous, I would say that wasn't cracked, but it is. It's got a hairline crack. So I'm going to just drop that on there, and that's it for today. Enemies of vinyl are Methylated Spirits, Coca-Cola, good English beer, super glue that if you get that anywhere near the grooves, you're done for. There's no way of getting that off. You might wonder how you get out of that hairline cracks. There's the obvious reason. A lot of people, if they put their hands down on records and lean on them, they put the hands like that on records and put body weight onto them is a great way to crack a record. Looking through them aggressively is a great way to crack a record, but one of the most common ways of hairline cracking a record is packing them too tight. I think personally, if you're in a DJ box, you want this sort of movement. Another reason is if this box ever slips out of your hand and they're packed tight, a shock wave, especially with styrene, just the shock of it can give you a hairline crack. When there's as loose as this, the air cushions the blow. So don't pack your DJ case too tight. Don't put your hands on records and lean on them. When you're looking through records, don't do that, because you will crack records, especially if they have hairline cracks like this one, which you can only find by really looking for it. If it's got a tiny crack like that and then you lean on it, that'll turn into a nasty crack. I've told you about your DJ box and how it ought to be quite loose, because if you drop it, there's an air cushion in there. I've got a young man with me today. Come here, young man. Just a beginner.
Exactly.
Now, he's not been prompted on this, and he doesn't know what I'm going to say actually, but he will pick me up on it in a second. I see DJs all the while. That's the next record I'm playing. That's the next record I'm playing. That's the next record I'm playing. Yeah? Why shouldn't people do that, sir? Because what do people do when they come up and ask you for a record?
Well, you need to know where it is for a start off.
You need to know where it is, yeah. Why shouldn't you do that? Should I give you a clue? Joseph Webster?
Well, when you pick it out, you won't crack it. I incidentally find something wrong with this box. I think you should have some cardboard at the front and the
Cardboard at the front and the back, yeah.
to protect it.
Okay.
I mean,
See the youngsters know. Well, this has got.
You've got padding and that. There,
This has got foam padding. That's why
Yeah,
it's foam padding, and the top's foam padding as well. This is a great box, by the way. Paul, let me tell you why you shouldn't do this, because I know a young man who has had a £4,000 record, Joseph Webster. What happened to your Joseph Webster?
Well, I'll tell you what happened to it. It was up like that.
Yeah.
And I had a 12-inch box.
Yeah.
Okay. By the side of it, and a 12-inch from above dropped down.
Yeah.
And knocked that out.
Yeah.
And chipped the Joseph Webster.
Yeah, £4,000 worth of damage. Me personally, I prefer to take records out and put them like that, just making sure there's no beer there, no Coca-Cola there. Take your records out to begin with, because my own experience from having records out like that was a drunk who came up who wanted me to play the snake or something similar. I went, "Have you got?" and it smashed it straight in two.
How do you organise your box, John? What I find actually, that's why I do put them up.
Yeah.
Mine are organised from A to say Z,
Yeah.
alphabetically. Therefore, take Joseph Webster, I know to look somewhere in here
Yeah.
if somebody asks for it.
Absolutely.
And Mark 4 would be somewhere in the middle.
Well, for me, what I do before I DJ is to go through, pick out the ones that I know I want to DJ today, and there we go. That's how I work personally. I can't break any of these. I don't like records standing up like that. Not since the man broke a record in my DJ box. Not since your Joseph Webster got broken.
Well, I still tend to take one or two, but only a very few.
Yeah, then
because there's also that people are going to ask for requests,
Yeah,
and then say I'm almost certain after 10 minutes somebody's going to ask for Little Major Williams. So I put that up to make sure I don't forget to play it.
And I'll tell you what else I do when I play something. I drop it at the back.
Right,
Two reasons. Less records to look through when you're looking for something else to play, but the other reason is that if somebody asks you for a playlist, you just go the next day. You can just go to the back of your box and write it all down.
Yeah,
and actually, it'll be in the order that you did it.
I sometimes do get that. I don't like doing it, but I sometimes have to do it.
Yeah.
I do find, for instance, if I take out a record like that, what I will do when I play it, I will take it out, put it on the decks, and then if I put it back in the same place, I know it's alphabetically in the same place. That's why I tend to leave them where they are. Otherwise, at the end of the day, you've got to completely resort your box.
So your dilemma is: do I refile at the end of the night, or do I get a £4,000 record chipped? And my dilemma is: do I have a drunk leaning on my box saying, "Have you got?" Smash.
Well, all I can say is it's happened once in 30 years, so...
Once is too many. Okay, fine. So that's how I like my box. You don't pack it tight, do you?
Oh, you don't pack it too tightly?
No. If you pack it tight, hairline cracks appear when you pack them tight. Even getting records out can cause an hairline crack, especially the styrene records.
I actually find that my box, I use the green sleeves because they're thinner and you can get more records in the box.
Okay.
I always pester you when I come down to you or anybody else. Have you got any green sleeves? And I tell you one thing I particularly hate are these things. Because they put a few records in and they make...
What I don't like about plastic sleeves is you can't flick through your stuff. And to be able to flick through fairly quickly is very important.
Exactly, it certainly is.
Okay, there you go.
Done.